Hello everyone, my name is Ms. Babaika and today I'm going to teach you how to analyze an iconographical document for your civilization class. This video is the second part of the PowerPoint I already uploaded on Moodle, which was on the theoretical aspect of how to analyze an iconographical document. So I really suggest before you listen to this video that you go and have a look at the first PowerPoint. So today the practical example we are going to choose is one cartoon from The Economist published on 11th of September 2014. So really the first thing you need to do when you have an iconographical document that you need to analyze is to pay careful attention to the paratext. The paratext means all the information that you find around the iconographical document. So this is the source, the author, the date, for example, here. So you see that already from the paratext, you can find various important information. For example, you can find the author, so Carl, and if you pay attention to the cartoon, you also find him mentioned here in the corner. You also find the source, so The Economist, and the date. So the author of this cartoon is Carl, the cartoonist. The Economist is a British magazine, and the date is 11th of September 2014. So why do you need to pay attention to the paratext? It is here that you already find information on the source, and this will be of importance as we are going to see. So for example, The Economist is a weekly newspaper which is based in London. The main political stance of the newspaper is centrist politics, and the main areas of expertise are neoliberalism, free markets, free trade, and globalization. What's more, what you can find from this specific source is the point of view, because as I told you in the first PowerPoint, every document has a point of view and is biased. Your job is to identify what is the point of view expressed. Here, as you can see, The Economist being a British magazine, this expresses an English point of view on the Scottish referendum for the independence. And this will be of importance for your analysis to identify the point of view. Since, of course, having a Scottish cartoon is not the same as having an English point of view on the referendum. The second thing you need to do is wonder what is the theme of the document. In this example, the answer is quite obvious. If you have a look at the various signs here, you have one sign saying welcome to independence, another is yes for Scotland. So of course you can deduce that the theme of the document, of the iconographical document here, is the Scottish referendum, which took place on the 18th of September 2014. This date, 18th of September 2014, is very important for you to notice and to link it to the date of publication of the cartoon. Indeed, as we've seen in the paratext a few seconds before, the cartoon was published on the 11th of September 2014. So just a few days, a week actually, before the actual referendum. This, of course, tells you several elements that you can draw from this date. First of all, the cartoon is the primary source. This means, as I told you in the first PowerPoint, that this is a first-hand testimony of one event, historical event, that is published really when the event takes place. Just from the paratextual information, you get a lot of elements. First of all, you get the information on the source, the Economist, so as we said, an English news magazine. We also have information on the bias, so an English point of view on an event happening in Scotland. It is also a primary document, so first-hand testimony on a historical event. And you also find it important for you to contextualize the cartoon, since you need to put it into the context of the Scottish referendum in 2014. Besides the paratext, another thing you need to be careful about is to identify quite rapidly the type of document that you have under study. So here, quite obviously, the type of document is a caricature, also called a cartoon. So how does a caricature work? It uses oversimplified characteristics and the exaggeration of others. Caricatures have been used in politics for entertainment, but also um, to deliver a specific message. And we'll see what the message is as we go on with our analysis. So once you have defined the type of the document, you need to go further in your description. So until now, as you've seen, we mainly focused on the paratext, so all the information you find around the picture itself, also the type of the document. We didn't describe the cartoon yet. So now let's take a few minutes to really describe the cartoon. So when you have a look at the document, you should always be careful about the organization. So the spatial organization here, and also what are the main elements here, what catches the eye of the reader or of the spectator. Of course, when you take a look at this cartoon, the first thing that you can see is this huge character at the center. And then on the left, you can see a long queue of people. It goes far until the horizon. These people, which are unidentifiable, they wear signs on which we can read "Yes for Scotland." So from this, you can deduce that these people behind the central character are supporters of the independence. So this is for the left side of the cartoon. On the right side of the cartoon, you can see a wooden bridge with some broken planks and various warning signs. First of all, welcome to independence. Another warning sign, fiscal hole, shaky public finances, falling oil revenues, and slide into irrelevance. The landscape is also important here to take into account since it seems to be happening in the mountain. So it's a very narrow, steep road that these people and the central character are taking. On the right side, you can see some rocks falling from the mountain. So really the mountain seems to be crumbling. The way is not very sure. There is danger everywhere. You have here a warning sign, slide into irrelevance. The bridge here has also broken planks. So this is really not a safe way, a safe road to go. Besides this, if you take a look at the way the cartoon is organized, it tells you the way it should be read. So from left to right, there is a chronological logic here at stake. So you should read the document, the iconographical document from the left to the right. So it shows you the origin of these people, where they come from, and where the central character leads them, meaning to this broken bridge. As you observe this cartoon carefully, you can also notice that there is quite a discrepancy between the signs that are here showed. For example, on the right side of the picture, you have this sign, "Welcome to Independence," and then under this one, we have several warning signs: fiscal hole, shaky public finances, falling oil revenues, slide into irrelevance, etc. What's more, there seems to be also a discrepancy between the joyful character here, the joyful faces, their enthusiasm, and then what is here, what is seen here, meaning the broken bridge. So they are led to an unknown, uncertain, and dangerous destiny by this central character here. Another thing you need to ask yourselves is, what is this bagpiper standing for? In order to do this, you first need to describe him very carefully, and first describe his outfit. As you can see here, he's wearing a tartan, a kilt here, a plaid, the bagpipe, of course, and then he also has a sort of bonnet here. So what this character stands for is the Highlander piper. As you can see, there are links and parallels between the way the central character here is represented and the real Highlander piper. So the Highlands, as you already know, are the northern part of the British Isles here, the nickname for Scotland, so the Scotland Highlands. So the Highlander here wears a feather bonnet, usually made of ostrich, which was worn by the Scottish infantry soldiers until the outbreak of World War One. We also see a plaid here, and a kilt. Of course, the bagpipe here and here as well. So as you can see from the parallels between the real Highlander piper and here the representation of the cartoonist, this central figure here seems to stand for the Highlander. So this being a very traditional outfit, you need to ask yourselves, what is this character representing besides being the Highlander? This sign yes here should give you some clues. So every picture, every cartoon, iconographical document has a message that needs to be read. And you shouldn't stop at describing what you see, but always try to understand what lies behind. Why did the cartoonist create this caricature here? What was the message that he wanted to deliver in a symbolic way? So in order to read the implicit message, you need to decode the symbols, because every picture contains many symbols. as it is the case in this cartoon. Analyzing also means to activate your memory. This can mean activate your memory about the context, so everything you know about the Scottish referendum should be useful here for you in order to decode the implicit message here and also the symbols. So your knowledge of the cultural symbols will also be helpful. Another thing you might find useful is identifying the implicit intertext. Of course, being only in the first year, you may not know all the implicit intertexts, but sometimes they are quite obvious, and I think in this case you might well know the cultural reference Carl uses here. So as I told you before, it is very important for you to activate your cultural knowledge, to activate your memory. This will help you to decode the picture and to analyze it. So really here, it's obvious that the implicit intertext is the character, the legendary character Pied Piper of Hamelin, a character which appeared in during the medieval times, but which was made popular by Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale. Pied Piper of Hamelin is an ambivalent character, and it has various interpretations. So originally, he seems to be quite a positive character because he helps deliver the city from the rats. He's leading the rats out of the city thanks to his flute here, a magic flute. And you should contextualize this interpretation of Pied Piper of Hamelin, medieval plague, which was caused by the rats. So this character leading the rats out of the city, out of the town, means delivering the city from the plague. So he appears as a positive character. However, in other versions of the same legend, we find Pied Piper of Hamelin being a more negative character, since he's showed leading the children out of Hamelin. He leads them to drown, so he appears really as a negative character who draws the children to their death. So when we take these two interpretations of Pied Piper of Hamelin, we have two very different interpretations. So we need to ask ourselves, what is the right intertext here? Is it the positive Pied Piper of Hamelin, or is it the more negative character? As here we find these warning signs, the broken bridge, the rocks falling from the mountain. This central character here really appears to be leading the supporters for independence towards their death. Here, they will fall to the death. So he really appears here as the negative Pied Piper of Hamelin. Which is leading the people thanks to his magic bagpipe. So you can see how you can analyze a picture, an iconographical document, by looking first at the paratext and then identifying the type of document, and then you go more in depth from description to analysis. So the description, just to summarize, is your first impression. What can you see when you look at the picture? But of course, this can never be the end of your job as a student in English studies. Your job should always be to go beyond a description, to go and ask yourselves, what is the implicit message at stake? Why did the cartoonist or the painter, why did he choose to represent this scene? What are the symbols here that I can identify? And the last thing that I wanted to tell you is that interpreting an iconographical document, especially in civilization or in history classes, is always about paying attention to the implicit signs that you can find to the implicit symbols, the implicit intertexts. So it always appeals to your knowledge. So analyzing a picture is activating your memory, activating your cultural knowledge, your contextual knowledge. This is all that analysis is about. So I hope clear and that you understood how we go from the theory to practice, how we move from description to analysis.